Well, I hope you've been moved by the things that we've seen today. I see tears, and I feel the same way. Some of the things I hear, some of the things I see affect me. And that's kind of the point of what we're trying to do here. But the whole idea is that I hope you go away today realizing that you are the hope. You know, that there is hope in the world, and it lies in each and every one of us. And it's important that we know that. You know, it's important that we know that we have to not only do something, but we have to be something in the world. You know, whether it's by placing a flower on a grave, whether it's a prayer, whether it's just being extra kind to somebody, we need to make meaning of this day. And I'm finding, you know, year after year, it becomes more meaningful to me, this Memorial Day, the meaning of war. What is the meaning of war? And I think it's important that we do make meaning of it, although I don't think I can. I can't make meaning of war, but what I can do is make meaning of freedom to choose how I can see the world, how I can be in the world, how I can see the world as evolving. This freedom is to know the process is that all of us together can make the difference. You know, you and I have the freedoms right now. We need to recognize it, and we need to understand that every place doesn't have the same freedoms we have. We can dress how we want to. We can love who we want to. We can work where we want to. We can come together as common ground where we can't do that in a lot of places in the world still, right? And there are freedoms here that we still need to work on, especially right now, you know? Those of us who have traveled beyond borders have seen some pretty scary stuff, and when we get home, it's like we realize how much we appreciate the freedoms that we really do have here. I watched the YouTube video. Actually, I didn't watch it. I think it was taken down, but I read about it. It was some kids, I think they were from Iran. There was about 7 boys and girls that were dancing to Pharrell Williams' Happy, you know the song, Happy? Anyway, and they were dancing to it, and they were all arrested for dancing to that. Women still can't afford, go to sports arenas in Iran. They're working on it now, but they can't go attend sports, and they can't do a lot of things until they get permission from their husbands, right? Or from their brothers, or their fathers. You know, the truth is that freedom still needs to ring in the world, right? It needs to ring in the world. We know we're not perfect here, but it's better than a lot of places. Thomas Jefferson said, what is freedom? Freedom is the right to choose, he says. The right to create for oneself the alternative of choice, right? Without the possibility of choice and the exercise of choice, we are not human, but a thing, is what he says. So I got to thinking about all this, and I think the bottom line is, yes, be grateful for our freedoms. Be grateful and know that there's a bigger picture out there. But I want to talk about something that I think is as important as our external freedom, and that's our inner freedom. That's our inner freedom. You know, there's a myth that freedom lies out there, that somewhere ahead of you, I'll be happy, that I'll be at peace, I will be free when this happens or that happens. I can't really be happy until this person's happy, till my family's happy, you know? Or as soon as I retire, I'm gonna be happy, right? As soon as I have this, I'll be happy. There's also this myth that happiness or independence or freedom are contingent upon favorable circumstances, right? When I move, when I get more money, when I take a trip, when I lose weight, when I start to exercise, I'll be free. You know? And what I know, and we talk about it a lot here, is that wherever you go, there you are, that we're the same, you know? We're the same wherever we go, unless we touch something inside of here. See, freedom is out here, but it's within here. It starts right within each and every one of us, you know? There's a poem that we have written, or that we have said a lot here, and it's Rumi's, right? Rumi's poem. And it's beyond the field of right, beyond right and wrong, there is a field. I'll meet you there. I love that. And I thought about that today when I was thinking about freedom. There is a field beyond right and wrong. I'll meet you there. It's the same field that Eckhart Tolle calls our deeper dimension. You know, he says freedom is in every moment. It's not in the future. Here's the quote from Eckhart Tolle. And to me, this is where freedom rings. It's in our heart. He says, when the content of your life becomes secondary to the deeper dimension within you, then you have found freedom. Now think about that. I'm going to read it again. Think about that. When the content of your life becomes secondary to the deeper dimension within you. See, that's the field that Rumi was talking about. That's the peace that passes understanding. That's the freedom, and it lies within each and every one of us. And it has to come first before everything else. Because once we touch that God self, that love, whatever you want to call it, once we move from that spot, when we live and move and have our being in that place within us, peace will come in a million different ways. Each of us have a different way of finding that. We've all touched it for a moment. But the truth is the more that we go there, the better our chances of peace lie. You know, I went to a funeral on Friday for a friend of mine, and everybody had stories of what a wonderful person this man was. You know, he was a wonderful father, and he was a wonderful friend, and just these funny stories. He was humorous, he was good, he was generous. And so when we got done, I saw somebody else there that I knew, and I went up to him and I said, wow, you know, what a wonderful man. There's a lot of stories that I didn't know about him. And the man said to me, well, he was really arrogant. That's what he was really arrogant. And wow, I was kind of taken back for a minute, and I thought, you know, maybe he was, right? Maybe he was arrogant and stuff. But here's my point, is that when we can step back and see all of it, right? And not just the good and not just the bad, when we know, because we're in a human world, and the human being isn't all good, it isn't all bad, but when we can see it all and go beyond that, we step into that pure freedom world where we see what's going on, but we can go beyond it and know more and know more. That's freedom, so that we don't get pulled onto the sides of good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, maybe he wasn't perfect, right? Maybe he wasn't perfect, but maybe we see it all. Maybe we see it all. See, when we can get that kind of freedom, we start to expand our worldview. When we're not attached to just everything being good and everything being bad, when we can see the whole thing and go beyond it and know that peace lies there, we begin to see then the world as one, just as we were hearing and seeing today, that there is one world, there is one peace, and we can touch that place in us. You know, when our love is for all, and it's not just for one, it's not just for the good, it's not just for everything being perfect, but it's for everything. So as I get back to Memorial Day and peace, you know, when we meet in that the deeper dimension that Tolle talks about, that's when freedom rings for us. When you see that in all of us, right? When you see that dimension in other countries, right? When you see planet Earth, when you see each and every one of us and every place as our family. You know, and I get that it's complicated, and a lot of people don't feel the same way. But the truth is, it's up to us, people like us, to go beyond the boundaries and to see a world that isn't just right and just wrong, isn't just evil, the evildoers and then the good doers, that we're all of it. Every country, every place has good, has bad, right? To understand it, and then to embrace the world as it is, with our prayers and with our freedom that rings worldwide, and with our prayers that peace prevails everywhere. So I'm going to close with a meditation that we've always done. It's a prayer on usually Veterans Day or Memorial Day, and I want to read it, and I'm asking you to really listen to the words, because I think it's powerful. It's not just about prayers and meditation for our country. This is about prayer and a meditation for all of us. Everybody bleeds the same, whether your country is Iraq, whether it's America. We remember with a sense of gratitude and humility the thousands upon thousands who have died in wars and in conflicts. Could you play a little bit behind this? I think I'll do it that way. Little soft music. Let us make of their deaths a meaning that shall be for peace and justice and the birth of a new hope on earth. May we remember this day all those who have died, not only of our nation's wars, but also of all wars in all lands where men and women and children have lost their lives to the harsh and the bitter cruelty of human combat. And in our remembrance, may we not be puffed up with the overbearing pride of a false and a narrow patriotism, but rather with a generous patriotism that reaches out to every human family on every continent and every shore. May we come to love this earth and the universal kingdom of love and of justice with a zeal equal to and surpassing our love of country. Make us more compassionate, God, loving and forgiving as we call to mind the tragic deaths wrought by so many wars in so many lands that our hearts cannot contain them for fear of breaking. So let peace come in 1,000 tongues and a myriad of languages. And so it is. Amen. And so, tomorrow, I invite you to take a moment, just 1 minute, be in silence, imagine peace, imagine love, imagine blessings to all of you this holiday weekend. Thank you so much for doing this.